Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning.
Are you ready to rock and roll?
Absolutely.
Bella is.
Erik,
Bella's ready.
Oh, hi, Bella. She's staring out the window.
Oh, yeah. Looking for a squirrel. Erik, hi. How are you doing?
Fantastico.
Fantastico?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good. Can't argue with that. We are going to talk about, let me see in my little list, let's talk about life. Some small subject like that. Like, tell me the origin of life and evolution. And let's start out with, was there an Adam and Eve? Everybody wants us to channel Adam and Eve. Was there such thing as Adam and Eve? You can't hear me?
Oh, there you are. Everybody wants to know if there was an Adam and Eve.
Right.
He said, how are you putting that in the context? Like as if they were the first people ever?
Yeah. Like Adam and Eve in the Bible and the Garden of Eden and all that stuff.
Not really.
Okay. I didn't think so. You know how you'd be able to tell if they were? If you found their bodies in a cave? They wouldn't have a belly button. So now we know. The truth is out. All right. Well, tell me about the origin of life. I know you're going to have to work with the linear time, earthly linear time here, but...
Okay. All right, so we'll just say that all conversation from here on forward is in linear time.
Right.
Okay. And he says, Mom, do you mean life like as in human life? Like human body life?
Any life.
Or are we talking about
life?
The creepy crawlies out of the water and evolution kind of thing?
Primordial soup, all that, everything.
He says, well, new science pretty much has it down that we did evolve. And we did evolve from... he's talking about apes and all kinds of things and walking on 2 feet. He's like all that traditional stuff that you learn in 8th grade. But what is failed to be talked about, there's like a huge gap. Like once we get to caveman, and then we get to maybe... He says probably Christ. This kind of gap of what the hell is going on. He said, I believe a lot of the story is missing because we do have communication with other multidimensional beings, and that we did not just develop and do all of this on our own.
In other words, it didn't just happen through slow process of spontaneous mutation?
It's still a slow fucking process. But, we tend to think caveman being dumb, not having a lot of language, and that the existence of human evolution from there on out was extremely slow in that nature. Now, our bodies might have been slow, but our intelligence level wasn't. Okay. And it's like all of a sudden we're starting to realize that even chimpanzees can watch a fucking movie and understand a plot and know what's going on and be able to identify someone that they're attracted to who's positive and somebody who's, negative and they don't want to be around to have fear for them. He says they have reactions to that. So who the fuck are we to say that we're looking at dead bodies back then and looking at pictures, granted it's kind of like Picasso.
Well, no, but how to your point, what kind of help did we have? Beside this regular spontaneous, Darwin's law.
Yes.
Spontaneous.
Besides, along with evolution, parallel with that, helpful to that, we had communication to multidimensional beings who not only taught us technology, who helped us in our home structure, our building, but also gave to us abilities, almost as if we take today's culture, right? People say, oh, I have hot hands, I feel like something weird is happening, I can move energy, so now I'm going to study energy, and I'm going to move energy through my body and help that person heal themselves, and it works. He said, well, the masses don't really know about that yet, but it's functioning and it works. So imagine us back then, not really knowing what our energetic bodies are doing or what our capabilities really are, and being taught and groomed and told by other multidimensional beings how it works. Because, it's not like we were neighbors or anything and they walk over every day and they go, hey, have you ever heard about coffee? Let me make it for you. He says it's not like that, but it's more of an occasional visit. And he says it's not.
What do you mean? They changed us as a life source, a force? I don't understand. Or they just taught us things. I'm trying to, talk not about the evolution of our knowledge, but the evolution of us as biological.
Yes, but Mom, evolution of knowledge changes the way that we use our bodies, and that changes evolution.
Okay.
So through time we recognize that, we actually do require, this or that, and it maintains instead of goes away. But he goes, that's why I felt it was important to talk to that. But he was trying to discuss the difference between multidimensional beings that come down and they end up being worshipped. Mm-hmm. So they're the ones who are kind of teaching or showing us what we're capable of doing, mm-hmm. but not really leading. They're not leading us to behave in different ways. They still want humans to come about it themselves. Yeah. And then there are those who came and interacted. Mm. And you could say interacted by living, coexisting with us, having relationships with us, having children with us, experiencing all of that. And he says, and what's fucked up is people want to sit here and imagine that they're, little green people or big tall grays that are coming down and doing all this shit. But when they're interacting with us, they very much appear to be us. Mm. And so it's not to spook everybody out that maybe half the people in your life are actually aliens and not really humans, but it is that kind of notion. They're not here to say, wow, look at the stars, we're much better than you. It's Earth had something to offer for them. Sure. They wanted to help, they wanted to give back, and this is before a lot of the, he says you can call them contracts, you can call them protection force or fields, mm-hmm. all that bullshit. But there's a certain level of respect for growing communities, growing planets, and growing life forms.
Well, let me just clarify something. So they bred with us. Did that do something, advance our speed up our evolution in any way? Or what did that do?
Sorry, showing me pictures. It helped change the function of our brains.
Okay.
We had a great deal of time within our evolution that we understood telepathic communication, that we had animal communication, that we understood the language of the earth, mm-hmm. What it was presenting, what it was doing, what was coming, how to manage it. Mm-hmm. We didn't need meteorologists, we didn't need people to play mm-hmm. as mediator or be in control. We were in control of it ourselves, and he said that this came about through crossbreeding, but it was never like hey, we're going to do this so we can make these babies and then take these babies away so that they can be workhorses for us over on our planet. There's a lot of crazy stories about the abductions or breeding or, stealing all the eggs and everything like that from somebody and making babies elsewhere. He goes, that's probably a conversation for modern time, but back then, no. Yeah. This is, even though probably it was thought about, this is not, I have no idea what you're just saying. Mm-hmm. It wasn't happening then because it was still protected under,
okay,
new growth laws, new...
Okay.
Yes. He goes, do I make your head hurt, Jamie? I go, yes.
You're making everybody's head hurt. All right, so I get it. Some of the evolution was just spontaneous evolution. Some of it has been helped along with these other dimensional beings. All right. Now, where did life on Earth, how did it start? Did it come through bacteria on a meteor that struck Earth, or how did it, was that it?
Why would that be the first thing you said? You know, for
Because
me, that would not be my...
I saw something about Mars and how they see there's salt water on Mars, and so there could be life. There could have been at least life there. So did it come from a meteor, a chunk of Mars, or some other planet?
Some other planet.
Some other planet. Okay. So let's see. Now I want to talk about the origin of life. I mean, life on other planets. Did they originate kind of this in the same way? And do they evolve the same way?
First life on other planets. Similar ways, yes.
Okay, so they also spontaneous evolution, mutation, Darwinism, and help from aliens, or any other way that their evolution was influenced?
Through multidimensional beings, communication. There's some he's showing me that were created by other beings. Like created.
Okay, like in a test tube, or how?
You could say that.
Created as babies? Or
yeah, the beings.
Created as grown, like humanoid robot type, or?
Created as babies.
Okay.
That would be the best way to say it.
Okay. So
that's what they rely on to reproduce as well. It's almost like they don't have that reproduction gene, but
they just make them.
Yeah.
In a lab. Factories. It's weird. That is really weird.
It is very weird.
Is all life carbon-based?
No.
Like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen-based? Really? No. What are some of the others?
I feel like I need the chart in front of me.
Oh, yeah, the periodic table?
Yeah. He is discussing helium.
Really? Wow.
I don't know how that would work.
Well, yeah, good. Helium. What about silicon based? Maybe?
What does that look like?
I don't know. It's SI.
He's a turkey. An SI? Eric, could you just tell me yes or no?
Yeah, come on, Eric.
Because he's showing me that the gases, there's
xenon and argon and all those, the noble gases?
He's saying yes.
Okay.
And that there's some planets and some places that have gas formations, and I don't even know how to explain it. But it's intelligent life.
Wow. Do they have DNA? Do they all use DNA? And genes and stuff?
No, not what he's trying to explain, no.
Okay, well, last question on this. Give me an example in a little bit more detail of another form of life that is not carbon-based, does not use DNA. We can go with one of your noble gas beings, the ones that are, consist of noble gases and...
He's going with that since you mentioned it.
Okay.
And he's sharing that, when we look at a close-up or image of the nervous system, all the little wires, all the little, I see that, and it looks like light formation. It doesn't look like solid matter that I could reach out and kind of pluck or grab those things. I feel like if I was there, I would move right through it, yet it wouldn't break. It would come back together for communication purposes. And these entities are linked together through this vein of communication. So as one experiences, it's almost like roots on a tree. It goes back to all the leaves.
Wow.
So,
Does it have cells as building blocks?
like our cells?
Mm-hmm.
No.
So how do they replicate?
Think of it almost as in light matter. They don't really replicate. It's almost like they grow from the other. It's not like two get together and then make a third.
Mm-hmm.
It's one grows to a certain mass level and it changes. Like, isn't that how cells divide? Like they get so much in them and they pull apart. It's kind of like that.
Oh, okay. Cool. Wow. So they don't have a building block. They're just amorphous blobs.
Right. It's almost like the planet itself.
Oh.
Is maybe the life force of it all.
Oh, interesting.
And that the beings, entities that are experiencing the planet are parts of the planet's energy source.
All right. So the soul of the planet, pieces of it, are part of these beings. Okay.
Yes. So
right.
I can't see male, female, child, adult. It just...
Okay. God, the possibilities are just endless. Well, thank you, Erik, for this. Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You guys stay tuned for the messages at the end. And yep, Erik, haunt us later, okay?
You got it, Mama. I love you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.